Do not adjust your set. You're not dreaming. I am this attractive. Thank y'all for joining us. Pre-game coming up. Bulls, Bucks, Coby White slumping. What's going on? We got more to talk about. See, Red Fred is here. Will Perdue is here. Katie's about to press a button. We're about to do a show. Join us. Welcome in, you beautiful, beautiful, wonderful people. Thank you all for joining us on the CHGO Bulls pre-game show, brought to you by Coors Light. Embrace chill, ladies and gentlemen. It's about that time. The holiday season, you get a little stressed out. Embrace chill. Crack open a frosty cold Coors Light. It's crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Get it off of Instacart. CHGO.com/CHGO basketball. CoorsLight.com/CHGO basketball. I'm your host. I am Big Dave, in for our guy Matt Peck, who is down in Texas, loving up on some family. He'll return in a couple of games, but I got two Titans with me over here. I got the four-time champion, Will Perdue, over here, always spry. I got the legend himself. He's got his book too and everything. That is C Red Fred, ladies and gentlemen. Follow him on Twitter at C Red Fred. Gentlemen, how are we? Will, I will start with you. It's great to see you. How are you, friend?
I'm sorry, man. I got to go here, but the way you did the open, it literally reminded me of a show I used to watch as a youngster. WKRP in Cincinnati.
This is like your fifth WKRP reference.
Yes, but I don't think I've used Venus Flytrap yet.
Ooh,
as the reference.
Shout out Tim Reed.
As soon as you started talking, I was like, where have I heard? Oh, my God. Venus Flytrap. Remember, you used to have all the candles, and they turned the music down, the lights down, and I was like.
So you say I sound sexy, Will. I appreciate that.
I've told you what happens when you do that.
When I do the voice.
What do you do? What is it, Blue Chew?
Blue Chew.
Do we have to start the day like this?
Yes, I haven't seen Will in a while. Yes, we have to start it just like this, man.
I was just complimenting on him and remind me of Venus Flytrap, but he always goes to the same thing. I'm sexy, right?
What else is fun thing about Venus Flytrap?
So who sings that song, I'm Sexy and I Know It?
Sexy and I
It's
know
Fred.
it.
That's not C Red Fred.
LMFAO.
Oh, that's right. You're right. My bad.
You're going to say Frank Sinatra?
I was going to say no. I'm too sexy for my whatever.
Right Said Fred.
Right Said Fred.
Oh,
yeah, one of those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, have you ever heard of Right Said Fred?
I've heard that song. I've never, I don't.
Have you heard of Lonnie Anderson?
Who, sorry?
Who was on WKRP in Cincinnati? Lonnie Anderson, married to Burt Reynolds. You know Burt Reynolds?
I know Burt Reynolds.
Oh, there we go. All right.
We got two
1
here.
for 4.
Hey,
Let's rock and roll.
shout out to you, man. Thank you all for joining us, hanging out in the chat, man. Make sure you drop a comment, say hello, how you doing. Tell us what you're going to do for the holidays. We want to know. What up, Strick? What up, Julie? What's going on, Jeff? Thank y'all for being here, man. We got a lot to get into. We're going to talk about this matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to talk about Coby White. This man over here has some thoughts on Coby White and his slumping that's been going on, but he sees it a little bit differently. We'll dive into that. But first, the Chicago Bulls, man. What? 13-16 right now. I mean, if you look at the numbers, all right, they're fourth in assists per game. They're second in three-pointers made. They're eighth in three-point percentage. I mean, they're second in pace. I mean, offensively, they are really solid. They've been good. Defensively, they've been bad. And nothing shows that a little bit more than the two back-to-back games against the Boston Celtics, where the Bulls went to Boston, to their credit, beat them 117-108, came back home, didn't have that same fire, and Boston definitely did, especially Jason Tatum, and they won 123-98. Will, I know you wanted to get into some things about those two games, and kind of based around what we saw Nikola Vucevic say in the post game. Katie, can you remind the people what that man Vuce was saying to the folks in the post game?
obviously, happy we won in Boston. It was a good game for us, but I thought tonight, I don't think we played with the same intensity and focus that we did in Boston, especially in the second half. I think once they went and they started changing up defenses a little bit, they slowed us down. We couldn't get much going, and I think that affected our defense as well. But they really do a really good job of rebounding as well a couple times, especially in the first when we're getting stops and stuff. We gave them second chance opportunities, which hurt us. But yeah, just in the second half, they really amped it up. We don't respond. We didn't shoot the ball as well. Started third, we missed a couple as well. But I feel like that affected our defense a little bit.
Make out what Vooch was saying. He was basically saying, I don't think we played with the same intensity and focus that we did in Boston, especially in that second half. Will, you had thoughts on this, man. Where's your mind coming to those thoughts from Vooch?
So I watched the game at home. Unfortunately, I didn't do the show, but
we cried.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's emotional.
But you guys did an excellent job with the post game, but also with Katie. I take it that's you that put the sound out and picked out the cuts.
That was Will the Go Gottlieb.
That was Will the Go Gottlieb. Yeah.
Oh, Gottlieb did that?
Gottlieb sent that in.
All right. But the first thing that hit me was, why not? Because you had just basically laid out the blueprint on how to beat the Boston Celtics. Guard the three, contest the three, run them off the three, limit them to one shot, but yet play solid, patient, take good shots offense. So why were you not now ramped up even more so after that game because of the fact that you just beat them in Boston, the defending champions, okay? Why were you not ready to go and with the same amount of focus, preparation, intensity, desire? That's what I would like to know. Now, let me back up here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to Vooch for stepping up and being honest with that answer. Okay. 90% of the guys in this league would never answer that honestly because they're too concerned about their brand, or they're too concerned about catching strays. They're too concerned about, how that would look if they actually answered the question honestly. Okay. But that's what I love about Vooch is he doesn't mince words. And the other thing is, I know Vooch looks at himself hard in the mirror, right? I don't remember ever hearing a comment from him that's like, oh, is he pointing the fingers at his teammates? But I think the one thing that Vooch does is use the thumb quite a bit. So I want to compliment him on that, and that says to me a lot about him, okay, considering also that he's having an all-star season. And I hope and pray that he makes the all-star team because he deserves it.
Yeah.
But to me, that's what's baffling about this team is we consistently show these flashes of the talent that we have with these young guys, okay? Can we beat the Boston Celtics on any given night? Absolutely. We've already proven it. Can we beat the Milwaukee Bucks on any given night? Absolutely. We've already proven it. I mean, that's when the organization steps up and says, we can compete with these teams. That is a true statement. But that's not what this is about. Can you compete with those teams and beat them in a 7-game series? Not just compete. Because I made a comment about when I walked in about this is what I want to talk about, and you kind of chuckled and goes, well, that's what you used to do with this team back in the 90s. That's how you guys played. Teams competed with you, but then you beat them 3-0 in a best of 5. Right. You beat them 4-1 in a best of 7. So, yeah, the games were 6-point win, 4-point win, 3-point win, 1-point win, but it's a 4-0 sweep. So, yeah, you're competing, but you're not beating them, right?
Yes, sir.
You kind of almost need that team to beat themselves in order to beat them.
Yes, yeah.
If to play in a 7-game series or have an unfortunate turn of events where, one of the best players gets hurt, right? But I think the Bulls win that game in Boston, even if Brown doesn't get thrown out, because that's just how well they were playing. So that's why I continue to talk about if they make the correct trades and they continue to press the right buttons, they can actually turn this thing around pretty quickly because they can make themselves relevant in the free agent market. They got to hit a home run in the draft. But we're kind of stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not saying our team is mediocre from an individual standpoint, but the talent that we have just doesn't mesh very well on a whole. Okay? But we have some really good pieces that if you put the proper pieces around them, this team gets really good really quick. But that's what also every single night you look forward to watching this team play, even though you know what the ultimate goal is. Because they'll step up and they'll beat the Celtics. They'll beat Milwaukee. They'll beat Golden State. They'll beat the Lakers. And you're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, you know? But yet at the end of the day, you truly understand what we all hope the goal is to not just become get back into the playoffs, but become a contender. And you know, not to be, you know, too derogatory, but in this league, there's only two types of teams, contenders and pretenders. That's it.
Talk to them.
And because, and I constantly say this, and I always like to say this at the end of every discussion, the Miami Heat, the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, the Knicks have turned it around, the Lakers, the Warriors, you're held to a different standard because of the number of championships that you've won. The San Antonio Spurs are because of how you've won them and how you dominated an era. So that's how I think that, you know, does it look like we're going in the right direction? Yes. But it's kind of like the old saying, we got to go backwards before we go forwards. Yeah. But let's not get stuck, you know, in Bruce Springsteen's world of 2 steps back, 1 step forward.
Katie, you know Bruce Springsteen?
Isn't that Paul Abdul?
I don't live
that is Paul
under,
Abdul, but
I don't live under a rock, okay? I'm just young. There's a difference.
It's all right. Fred, your opinions on this, man?
I think it's pretty simple. Boston Celtics are significantly better than the Chicago Bulls. And it comes down to it. They're an elite defensive team. The 2 metrics that are most consistent with winning are 3-point percentage. 19 out of the top 20 teams in the league last year in 3-point percentage made the play-in or playoffs. The one team that didn't was Brooklyn. They were 18th. And the other metric, which is so important, is defensive efficiency. Boston's an elite defensive team. Oklahoma City is number 1 in the league right now. I mean, these 2 stats correlate to winning. And when you have teams that are good at both, then you have a team that's going to challenge for a title, and they're elite at both. We won Thursday because we hit 5 more threes, 15 points. We won the game. Zach played out of his mind. We lost on Saturday because they had 6 more offensive rebounds. You can't give a team like that extra possessions. We're just not in their class. We're just not. Every starter on that team is elite. And every team, I don't think we can match up talent-wise. We're younger, you know, so who knows where we'll be in a few years. But I think big picture, Boston Celtics are the world champions because Tatum is awesome. He did something Larry Bird on Saturday, you know, hasn't been done since Larry Bird. Just can't compete with that team.
Yeah, and to your point, Will, how you said, you know, luck has to happen. That's what you kind of wait for. That's what those technical fouls were. So the one on Joe Mazzulla that we saw, and you mentioned the one on Jaylen Brown that we saw, that was basically a 5-0 run by Zach LaVine himself, because after they got the ball, Zach comes off of the screen, hits a 3, they go up 8, and they pretty much never look back after that. So he's right. Like, that luck has to happen, but that is not a strategy for basketball, guys. Like, it can't just be on luck. You got to have the skill. You got to have the talent. You got to have those players, man. That's just what it has to be. We're going to take a quick break right here. When we come back, we're going to talk about Coby White. This awesome gentleman here has some thoughts. He's got the book. Oh, man, it's serious. All right.
Not the book.
The book after this break.
Big red book.
Beer. People drink it. They enjoy it. They like it. Just picture Matt Peck right now chilling out on the pool.
I have a feeling that he has a beer in his hand right now in Texas.
I have a feeling it's not his first. But I also have a feeling that it is a Frosty Cold Coors Light, because between work, social media, and the choices life throws our way, it's no wonder we're more worked up. Coors Light celebrates rising above and choosing that chill mindset. Why not turn that rained out barbecue into the Will to Go Gottlieb and Will Perdue 15th annual karaoke house party holiday edition? Or after a tough loss, settle scores with the ice cold peace offering. make the choice to choose chill. Then reach for that Coors Light. It is mountain cold refreshment because when those mountains turn blue, oh, yes, you know what to do. It's cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged for a smooth finish. So when you embrace the chill mindset, it's a great time to choose chill and crack open a frosty cold Coors Light. It is crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of time to choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get delivered straight to your door via Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, a golden
Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Matt, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Peck.
That's pretty much right.
Jeff in the comments thinks that Matt has a beer in each hand
Hawk,
right
man.
now.
Yeah.
Festivus for the rest of us, baby.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. By the way, we're airing out grievances on the post-game show. We have to celebrate.
Pizza shrimp?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That too. We'll take
What are we doing?
Festivus. She wasn't getting
The airing of grievances.
We got the silver pole.
I was about to say, where's the pole?
Yeah, where's the pole, man?
Let's not mistake that for something else.
Yeah, I was going to say, please don't ask me where the pole is. You can ask somebody else.
I'm so glad Will is here. Katie is a fool. Let's get into Coby White, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into Coby White, who has been struggling as of late this season. Let's take a look at some of those numbers right now, though, what he's been putting up month by month. You see he started on October, pretty hot, 18 in November, but the month of December, 15 points. The field goal percentage, you see that has fallen off. The three-point shooting has truly fallen off. His efficient field goal percentage started at 53.9, now at 43.4. His true shooting percentage is now at 48%. It was at 60% in November and 50% in October. Fred, you see these numbers. You understand what Coby's been going through, but you don't see it that way. You still see, rays of hope for our guy, Coby White, please.
Yeah, I've heard a massive amount of criticism for Coby White on this show, on other shows, for his performances so far in December. Let's look at what happened. The first 20 games of this season, he was averaging 18.7 points per game, 87% from the line, 39% from three. Very similar to what he did last year. Mm-hmm. Then in game 21, what happens? He hurts his ankle, and he's out for the next 2 games. And then for the rest of he's for the past 6 games in December, we saw his numbers up on the screen. So are we to believe that suddenly Coby White, A, has lost his ability to be a productive NBA basketball player? Or B, is it possible his ankle injury has had a negative impact on his performance, and that's the reason why for the past 6 games he's struggled a bit? So I'm not giving an excuse. He has absolutely struggled in the last 6 games. But I think Coby White deserves the benefit of the doubt. There's a few players on this team that are better leaders, that put in more effort than Coby White. I've been hearing about, Josh Giddey's ankle injury in August for the entire, 3 months since he's been playing as an excuse. But we're not going to give that same type of excuse for Coby White, who had 2 injuries. Come on. That's ridiculous. And, I think Coby White's going to be fine. And everybody who thinks that he's not, you can pound sand. Will, what'd say you? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll tell you that Coby usually goes through these slumps. Yeah. It's usually how it happens. What we've continued to say, especially me, continue to say on the show. And it's usually around this time, like in November and December. And he usually picks it back up mid-January, sometimes closer to the All-Star break. We've seen him do that this whole time. You think, though, it's more predicated on the injury and not just something that he usually does?
I think it's also unfair for Coby White. If you look at out of this entire team under Acme, no player has been asked to change his role more than Coby White. His first year, he was asked to be a traditional point guard. After COVID and after Acme took over, the next year, what happens? They bring in Lonzo Ball, and they go, we want you to be our leader off the bench. Lonzo gets hurt. What do they do next year? We bring in Goran Dragic. We still want you to come off the bench. What do we do the next year? We sign Javon Carter. He beats him out for the starting position. Then Zach gets injured, and then we want his role now to change. You're going to be the number 1 ball handler. You're going to score as many points as possible, and he thrived in that role. And then what do we do this offseason in the summer? We take our best trade asset, and we bring in a point guard in Josh Giddey. And we ask him again, now we want you to be off the ball, and Zach is back. And, that's talk about role changing. Will, I think if some of the coaches that you played for ask you to change a role that many times, what do basketball players say most often? I want to know what my role is. And it's changed every year. And so Coby White doesn't get any – I think the biggest thing, all you need to know about Coby White, when they made the trade for Caruso for Giddey, who shows up at the airport to pick him up and take him out to dinner is Coby White. Why do we have a problem with Coby White? He's not the issue with this team. What say you?
Well, I don't think anybody has a problem with him being on this team.
Yeah.
But I think what you have to remember, Fred, is this is a result society now. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's, I'm going to get some flack for this, but what I've learned being in this business of now crossing the line over to the media side is that when you're faced forward and deal with a lot of, when I say regular people, not those that have the luxury of being able to play professional sports. Most people, because of the amount of dollars that we're talking about, can't get past the money. They say they can, but at the end of the day, they can't. Okay. And I understand it, because most of the people that love sports and look at sports as an outlet will never have the opportunity to have that type of money or earn that type of money unless they win the lottery. So, sometimes they make a really valid argument, and then at the end they'll throw out, and for $30 million, I'm sorry. But that's not the point. Listen, to me, the one thing that Coby has done since he's been here, he's always been through these slumps.
Yes.
At different times of the year. It's never been consistent, like, well, here comes December. Last year he kind of struggled at the end, and he admitted why, because he just ran out of gas because he wasn't used to playing that many minutes. He also talked about Coby is most comfortable when he has the ability to get up extra shots. Coby was a guy that his first couple of years, because he was coming off the bench, would go in. Literally, Coby, if it was not a game day, he would go in at night and get up an extra 300-400 shots. Because he talked about the most important thing for him is continuing and maintaining a rhythm. But he said a couple things about last year. One, because he was playing so many minutes, he didn't have the luxury of coming back in later on an off day. He knew that he had to get off his feet and really rest his body and really rest his mind. And that kind of wore on him a little bit, because he struggled at times because of fatigue to stay in rhythm. So I think, what was it? He went through a 10-game stretch last year where he missed every single three he took or something like that.
He struggled, yeah.
Which was unheard of. But what's the one thing you always know? He always came out of that funk. Yeah. Whether it was a 5-game funk, a 10-game funk, an 8-game funk, whatever it was. And he usually came out with flying colors. So I don't question his work ethic. I don't question whether, he belongs on this team. It's interesting. Somebody made a comment, maybe it was Marcellus. I'm not 100% positive, but they said something about, is Coby now the face of this franchise? And you start to ask yourself, you're like, that's a good question. Because they're trying to trade Zach, trying to trade Vooch. Even when DeMar was the best player, but Zach was the face.
Yeah.
Which is, the dynamic here has always been a little odd. But now that you're trying to trade Zach, who's the face? Who's the future? And that's it's kind of by the process of elimination, you think it kind of is Coby. But you have to ask yourself, what is Coby's ceiling? That's what we don't know.
And that's what we got to figure out. I think we've been trying to figure out Coby's ceiling for some years now, because it's definitely fluctuated and gone up and down. Before, his ceiling was he's a 6-man. And now his ceiling was, well, I can be a starting guard in the NBA. Now I can be a most improved player. Now is his ceiling, I'm an all-star and the leader. So what do you think it is?
I absolutely think that. And you got to ask yourself the question right now, what player on this team has the greatest trade value? It's not Zach LaVine. He's our best player. But due to his contract, he does not have the greatest trade value. And I think it's two players. It's an argument between Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu. Everybody else on the team is not going to get the kind of return that you would get out of those two players because of their contract status and their age. I think Coby White, I would argue, if you went to the other 29 GMs, I still think he would probably be the most desired player on the Bulls roster when you consider what his contract is. What's he making? $12 million a year, which is a bargain for what he returns. So, and he's still a young player. and he's a high character player. He's exactly. I remember I had this conversation, or I heard this from some of the broadcasters who were at the game, and I asked them, what player do you think is the leader on the team? And he brought up the point that Mark Shanowski, it was on my podcast, I had him on. He brought up Coby's the guy who's always vocal, who's always being positive, who's always bringing up other players, trying to get the team going. He's a leader. He's a real leader who's totally unselfish, and he doesn't get enough credit for that. I'm a big fan of Coby White. I think they will probably try to trade him because he wasn't here. He's the last vestige of the Acme of the Garpax group, and I mean we have airing some grievances. Let me air this grievance right here. 2017, we did a rebuild, and the 4 best players that we got in that rebuild: Zach LaVine, Coby White, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr. What happened after 7 years? Well, we sent away Wendell for Vooch. We sent away Lauri for peanuts. And then what do we have today? Our best player is still Zach LaVine, and our best trade asset is Coby White. How frustrating is that? For 3 number ones, too? Think about where we're at. I got a grievance. I'm furious about it. I try to be positive. Everybody knows me, see Red Fred, but that sucks. And that's why when I walk around the town, I talk Bulls, there's a general apathy about the team. That's reason number 1.
Shout out to you walking around the town and people coming up to you, having them conversations, man. Because you see Red Fred. That's cool to see you, man. How do you feel about that, Will? Like, is it the same kind of feeling for you? That same kind of apathy?
I think that it's people are now in I want to see results mode.
Okay.
All right. And that's why I think that this isn't just about whether it's Zach LaVine or Coby White or Vooch or Patrick Williams or, whatever. This to me now this is from top to bottom, the whole organization. The players got to continue to get better. Arturas and Mark got to continue to, press the right buttons, make the right trades, make the right draft picks. It's a top to bottom thing. This isn't just, hey, we got to fix this one thing. There's a lot of things. This to-do list is long.
It's very long. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's something that's doable because all we got to do is sit here and say Orlando Magic did it. Oklahoma City Thunder did it. Pacers. They're well on their way. So it can be done.
Yeah.
It's just that, and everybody's taking different routes to do it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest issue now that we're running into is that from a fan base, the patience is running thin.
We got a shout out from our guy, Matt Peck, who says he's just sitting in the hot tub chilling with that beer, staring up at the Texas Stars with his nieces. Very happy he is where he's at. Wants you to keep Fred in line while he sits in Matt's chair.
You know what I have to say to that? Too much information, bro.
Well, here's some information for you. How about a sweet takeover, ladies and gentlemen? The official CHGO Bulls sweet takeover. Derrick Rose night is when it's going down. January 4th, Bulls versus Knicks. That means Tibbs will be in the building. Fred, you can still be allowed.
No, thanks.
That will happen. That will be awesome. All you can eat, all you can drink. Dessert cart will be there as well. This man, Will Perdue, will be there. I will be there. Peck will be there, y'all. Come hang out with us. We will also be doing a pod from there as well, so you can join in on that show. It's going to be cool. This is a great last-minute gift offer. If you haven't picked out a gift yet for somebody that you care about or you love or you like, this is perfect for them right here, man. Go ahead. And if you become a diehard, save yourself $100 off of this event right here, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself some money and come hang out with us in one of the biggest nights in Chicago, man. It's going to be a huge, huge night.
Let me throw something out there.
Toss it, Will.
There's a lot going on in that organization over there about what's going to happen on that night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to come for us, that's fine. But you don't want to not go.
Yeah.
And have something happen and you not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna don't do that to yourself. Come there, hang out, be in a suite when it happens. Like, how cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? That is amazing.
With a beverage in your hand.
With a beverage or 4. But
With a beverage, a plate of food, a dessert plate, a separate dessert plate, you guys, okay?
Yes.
2 plates in front of you.
And you can take some home for your significant other.
Yeah,
Sure.
The triangle of love
Absolutely.
is what that is. That sounds amazing.
And then watch our show afterwards or leave it. You don't have to stay if you don't like us. That's fine.
That's cool. But you will because you'll love us. You'll hang out. It's cool. But yeah, let's talk about the opponent tonight real quick. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks because they have been resurgent, ladies and gentlemen. They have brought themselves right on back. You see that record right there. They started out 2-8, have won 13 of their last 17. There goes their numbers right there. The three-point shooting definitely stands out. But for me, guys, what has stood out the most is they haven't done it offensively, but they have done it defensively. Like the opponent 2-point field goal percentage, they are 4th in that. They are 5th in effective field goal percentage by the opponent, and opponent points in the paint. They are 5th. They have really, really clamped down and started playing some serious defense, and the opponent's shooting percentage is 44%. That is 5th in the league right now. They have just been awesome. Giannis is definitely taken that leadership, to that whole another level. I love when he does that kind of stuff, even though he's going to be out tonight. I love when he does that kind of stuff, though, man. How you feeling about Milwaukee, Fresh?
I think they're an absolutely fantastic, underappreciated team. Giannis' season is insane, and it's probably I think he should absolutely be there in discussion for MVP. For them to come out and win that tournament means a lot because everybody was playing hard in that tournament. I fully expect the Bucks to be there at the end. I think they're better than the Knicks. I think they're better than, obviously, the Sixers. It's going to be between Boston and the Milwaukee Bucks for the Eastern Conference Championship.
Well, when I look at Joker and I see points in the paint, and he's leading points in the paint, averaging 21 in the paint. Second is Joker at 17. Like, this dude isn't even a center. I mean, he just absolutely dominates inside.
But I love how he talked about he's worked on his mid-range game. He basically, Doc sat him down and said, hey, season's over. This is what you need to do to get to the next level, which when you're talking about an MVP, you're like, next level. But he's worked on it.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about before the show started, you could actually have a solid night defensively, and he's going to drop 30 on you.
It's insane.
Because of just how good he's gotten.
He's that good. Injury report, though. Unfortunately, Giannis won't be playing. He's going to be out tonight.
Oh, come on.
A.J. Johnson will also be out. Damian Lillard is also out.
Oh, my God.
And Chris Livingston is out tonight as well. Lonzo Ball and Josh Giddey were questionable. They are out tonight. They will be out as well. Enjoy the game. It's still a game to watch. I can't wait to watch it. Let's see what Zach LaVine and the crew do. And after you watch it, come back here and watch the post game with us.
You mentioned the guy that needs to step up tonight.
He's got to step up tonight, man.
Who's that?
Coby White.
Oh,
he's got to step up tonight.
Wow. I was going to say this is Zach LaVine game.
This is it. Come watch it, enjoy it. Come back and watch post game with us, y'all. We will have Will the Go Gottlieb live from the UC as well. Got more in store for you. See you on the post game. Enjoy the game. We out. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.